It's going to be a beautiful wedding.
Good day so far? Today, tomorrow, it's all the same.
You! What is going on? Hey, get out of the water!
Guess you followed me. It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
That I might have heard about.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Film Optix review brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network. I'm your host, Christian, and today we're going to be talking about the latest streaming movie on Hulu, Palm Springs, a Hulu original. And as always, I'm joined by my good friend, Devin, and he's also my co-host. Kind of did that backwards, but that's all right. How are you doing today, man?
Doing swell. had the day off work, didn't do much.
Ooh, did you really?
Watched this movie a couple hours ago, actually.
Oh, did you really?
It's fresh.
Nice fresh in the mind. I feel it. Yeah, I've been working all day. Worked in the office for the first time in a few months. So that's a lot of fun. And joining us on today's review, we have Jacob and Ricky from the Music City Drive-In Podcast. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. Glad I can see Devin this week. He's not he's not an Avi on a black screen.
I have a face. I'm not Brendan Fraser.
Ricky, how are you doing today, man?
No, I'm not too bad, guys. Just relaxing. Was in the middle of watching The Rental, and I just got done watching Cutthroat City, which is obviously going to be the best picture this year. So I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Okay, nice. I feel
lots of sarcasm in the best picture part.
Yeah, it's all right, man. It's just been a long day. It's been a very long Monday. Just waiting for it to end. But before we begin today's review, you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Red Circle, TuneIn, Pandora, and iHeart Radio. And of course, every single time we have guests on, we do go live on YouTube, which of course we are live today. So yeah, let's talk some Palm Springs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read the synopsis really quick, and then we'll kind of get into like a non-spoiler section, just like our first initial thoughts of the film, and then we'll kind of dig a little deeper, get everyone's thoughts and opinions, and then we'll just pretty much give our scores and wrap up. So the synopsis reads, stuck in a time loop, two wedding guests develop a budding romance while living the same day over and over again. The initial release date for this was January 26th, this past Friday. On Hulu, director was Max Barbakow. There we go.
I think it's Barbakow.
Hey, I've been doing pretty good with names lately. Devin knows this. I've been butchering a lot of people's names. So
whatever you say, make yourself feel better.
Yeah, but of course, and this screenplay is by Andy Siara. I think I got that right. Siara?
Oh, I don't know about that one.
I might have butchered it.
Siara?
Ciara sounds better.
Sierra missed? No?
It's not as bad as people think it is.
Right. Hey, Sierra Mist is good. But, of course, this is on Hulu. So let's just go around the podcast really quick. I'll start with Ricky, because this is actually Ricky's first time on the podcast. After it's been a while. I feel like this is long overdue. So I want to get your first initial thoughts.
Okay, so for me personally, my first watch, when I first kind of dove into the film, the first 20 to 30 minutes of the film, for me, was very, very boring. I felt like maybe on a rewatch, it's a little bit maybe different for me. But as I watched it, I was sitting there and I was rather bored and I was disappointed highly to begin with because of how slow it started off with. Obviously, it picks up. It kind of gets that turn whenever they start kind of going back and forth a little bit. And I liked it. But my initial thoughts were it's a good film. It's very forgettable. I watched it. And I've kind of already forgotten about it, and I've kind of moved on. And that's kind of my initial reaction to the film. There's some solid performances within the film for me that I liked, but obviously, as a collective whole, just to kind of give you a little tidbit, obviously outside of Kristen Malatio, or Malatia, whatever you want to call her, yeah. So that's my just initial thoughts right off the back is the rough start, kind of hit the landing, but outside of that, it's just, for me, it's kind of forgettable film as a collective whole.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll give my thoughts last. We'll go with Devin since this is fresh in his mind.
It is. I'd say I was pretty pleasantly surprised with this one. I didn't really know what to expect. I knew it had the Caddyshack type of vibe, or not Caddyshack, Groundhog Day. That's the one. Both Bill Murray, close enough. Yeah. But I might be a little biased because I loved everything Andy Samberg is in, so that definitely boosted it up for me. I ended up really enjoying it just because this man does not miss, I feel like, except That's My Boy, but we're not going to talk about that.
Oh.
That was a rough one, but other than that.
I love That's My Boy.
Oh, you liked it? Oh, I'd say that's his low point. But
Got some disagreements here on the
the
pod.
point being, Andy Samberg is very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Andy Samberg was still the best part of that movie, though. That's the thing.
Oh,
That's My Boy.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we have the man who has watched this film over 1,000 times, Jacob.
It's look at the synopsis, and that's what I'm on.
Just watching it every day, just like the movie,
Yeah.
over and over.
I get what Ricky was saying because the first time I watched it, it was kind of a slow build-up. But if you go back and rewatch it, you really can start to pick up. And this is something I want to get more in when we talk spoilers. But you can really start picking up on the little things that Andy Samberg's like. You can tell what he's like continuously like doing throughout every day. So I mean, I really did love it the first time I watched it, but I've enjoyed it more and more every time that I've watched it. And I'm on watch 4, and I'll watch it some more.
Wow. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I watched this on Saturday, I believe. It was kind of mid Saturday afternoon, just hanging about and doing some chores around the house. And I was like, oh, yeah, I should probably turn it on. I was going to watch it on Sunday, but I had a busy day on Sunday, so I'm kind of glad I caught it on Saturday. But I really did enjoy this movie. I didn't know really what to expect. I know a lot of people kept telling me, not to watch the trailers because it gives away a potential spoiler. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna steer clear of this of the trailer and kind of just watch it for what it is. And I mean, I guess I was looking for a little bit more of a deeper meaning as to why they were stuck in the time loop. But from what I saw,
Sequel, buddy.
That is true. From
There's
what
not going to be a sequel, guys. There's just not.
probably
Sorry.
not. But I do like watching Andy Samberg and of course the mother from How I Met Your Mother. I'm blanking on her name right now.
Yeah, what should be an up
apologize.
to? It feels like she never really got much of a chance after How I Met Your Mother.
I think she was in the Amazon original. It's some kind of love. No, wait, that was Anne Hathaway. My mistake.
Brunettes.
There was, brunettes. What are you gonna do? No, but yeah, this movie really did. I would definitely watch it again, whether it be with someone else or just by myself, because I feel like there is a few things that I did miss. So I feel like it definitely warrants a second watch for sure. Like, it's insane. But was there anything else you guys wanted to touch on? I think at this point we should probably just dive into spoilers and kind of just get it all out on the table.
Yeah.
Because I know we really want to talk about it. But was there any last remarks before we move on? Sorry, I had to kill a spider that was on my wall at Brownwood Clues while everyone was giving their spiels. And I was like, it's a good thing my mic doesn't pick up on a lot of things going on in my room because I smashed it. And it's in this little ball here. So
That's so funny. He was talking about that before we started.
yeah, they're everywhere, dude. It's insane, and we have traps everywhere around our house. But anyway, so if there are no other last thoughts before we get into the spoiler section, let's just hop into spoilers here. So we find out that they do get out of the time loop, which is awesome. I was kind of confused by that at first, but
He has a dog.
Yeah.
yeah, he has a dog. He's like, I never mentioned the dog. This never came up, I guess. But I wanted to go around the pod. Anything you guys wanted to get on the table? I know I have a few talking points here, but I guess let's just talk about our favorite moment because I really want to get into that a little bit. We'll start with Jacob.
Oh, yeah. Well, when it comes to favorite moment, it's definitely in the backyard with J.K. Simmons. I feel like that was the culmination of everything that the movie had been building up to. And I feel like that was like Andy Samberg's tipping point of, you know, he really needed someone in his life. Like, he can't just keep trying to live day by day, like second by second. He really did need someone to kind of push him into, instead of just like moving through life, to start living life. And, you know, that whole thing with J.K. Simmons was hilarious, and I loved it. But it really, like, it almost just went like over the top, but then really got brought back down with that kind of backyard scene when he was just kind of like reflecting, and he was like, you know, like, I could have got stuck in any bad day, but today was like always a good day. And it was just kind of like that kind of beauty behind like life and like making every day like the best that it can be. It just, that was my favorite moment of the movie by far.
Just got to find your Irvine, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's got an Irvine.
Yeah. All right, Devin. Since well, what about you? Go ahead there.
I'd have to agree as well. When the son was watering the dog shit, that definitely got a chuckle out of me. Little Johnny's watering dog shit over there.
Yeah.
That was such a great delivery by J.K. Simmons too.
The whole thing. He said, he said she's gonna draw me later, and I'm a cuddly grizzly bear. And it's like after like we've been watching him like torture him the whole entire movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Ricky. What about you?
I think for me, my favorite part, I don't know if I have a favorite part per se, but I think the consistent chemistry and the banter between Sarah and Niles was very fantastic.
Yeah, the chemistry
right?
was amazing.
That's one of the big things that stood out to me the most. I think the development of their relationship and how it came about and how they stuck to their guns, and you always have that typical Hollywoodized romantic fall in love story, and I feel like they did a very good job of taking that off the beaten path. I will say whenever she went over to the little to the cave or whatever and started doing her thing and trying to blow the thing up or whatever by herself, that whole initiative she kind of took was really awesome, and I kind of dug that a lot. But she was easily my favorite part of this film. And then J.K. Simmons, I said this in my review, he's just a national treasure, right? You just can throw him in anything, and he was in this thing for what, maybe 10 minutes
just a
tops, you know what I
veteran.
mean? And he come in, knocks it out of the ballpark, and goes home, and I loved him in it as well.
All right.
I love how it's J.K. Simmons and Andy Samberg. They were a father-son team in I Love You, Man. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yep.
It's been a while, but yeah.
There's a throwback to that. Wonder if it's a different universe. That's one of their outcomes. Their
It could be one of the many. Could be one of the multiverse.
Oh man,
That line delivery killed me when he said oh, like, I've never thought of the multiverse. Yeah, okay, what's your theory? And just
Yeah.
so funny.
That was hilarious. So I guess I'll choose a lighter note since everyone already took like the meaningful themes and moments out of the movie. I guess my favorite part, there's two of them, when Andy Samberg Niles goes up the first time that he I guess you could say crashes the wedding and makes that like amazing, like powerful speech about love and whatnot, and just completely hits it out of the park. I was like, oh wow, like it's the first time of us seeing him. He's been drinking all day. You think it's going to be like some kind of crap show, and then out of nowhere, it was like, wow, that was pretty freaking good. Like,
and he's locking eyes with her the whole time.
Yeah, and then when he's copying his, I guess his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend within the
Yes,
that was hilarious.
yes, I love that.
That's classic Andy Samberg there.
The whole like waking up and like just like making fun of her the whole time, it killed me every single time.
That was hilarious. Like
when she said, "Are you fucking cheating on me?" and he said,
Go
"No."
fuck Trevor.
He
You're
said,
cheating
"No,
on me."
You're cheating on me."
She's like, what? She was so confused.
I get like she played like that type of character, but I really actually like loved everything she brought, because she brought like kind of that like confused state of like what is going on, and it works so perfectly.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree there. This movie it has a lot of great, funny moments, but it was kind of I was trying to figure out, like, yeah, this is like a romantic comedy, but it's a little bit more than that, I feel like. But
A little sci-fi, I guess.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
little sci-fi here or there.
That's when I wrote it, it reminded me a lot of like a Charlie Kaufman script, like an Eternal Sunshine type of like sci-fi mixed with like rom-com type of movie.
Yeah, I really did enjoy it. I mean, I don't know if it really warrants a sequel or like a prequel.
I was just kidding.
It doesn't.
But so let's see here. So we pretty much gone over, our favorite parts. Was there any part of the film, I guess, that just didn't work for you guys whatsoever? I guess we'll start with Devin.
I guess towards the end where she said you have one sentence to sway me, and then
And it was like an entire
It felt-
paragraph.
I love that.
that part felt like it was like the cheesiest part. Like they were avoiding cheesiness the whole movie, and then that came and it was like, oh, that's a bit cheesy there.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I was like, does this actually... Well, I liked it, but I was trying, like, in the back of my head, I'm like, does this actually warrant as a sentence? I'm like, I guess it does. Because, like, there are
Dot, dot,
run-on
dot, ellipses.
sentences. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there are run-on sentences, and I used to run into that issue all the time when I was in school.
I gotta say one thing.
No, you're
Obviously, Kenzie just sent this to the group chat once again,
Oh,
but
God.
she said we had to shout out Peter Gallagher and his beautiful eyebrows. That's really all I really have to say.
He killed me too when
give
he
him
said
that.
when he when he came in and he said we're going into town. This doctor glues teeth. I died laughing. Like
In the flashback where him and Niles
Yeah.
possibly fooled around.
yeah.
What are we doing?
It's like Niles has just like explored every sexuality there is, and when he's like hooking up with the old woman, and then Sarah's like, "Oh, that sounds like it's better than what I expected." He's like, "Yeah, it
I bet-
actually
yeah.
wasn't that bad." I was like, "Oh my life, that was hilarious." But I
Well,
loved
see-
the family. Sorry, go ahead. You're good.
I was gonna say, see, like he of course hooked up with I can't remember the dude's name.
The black guy.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
I forgot his
It
name.
was
too.
Jerry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was like whatever. He was like sweet guy. But if you notice, like from the very beginning, when they're in the pool, he's like, "Oh, today, tomorrow, like it's all the same." And he was like looking at him. He was like, Jerry's like, anything can happen. And Andy Samberg turns over to him and he goes, "Not today. You're not lucky today." Like it's just like those little things like that where he was like alluding to being stuck in a time loop, but you didn't know like film wise that he was stuck in a time loop. He does a lot of those where it's just like you can like kind of pick up on it if you've seen the movie. That's why I think like another watch is like definitely needed for something like this.
Yeah, yeah. Because there were a few questions I had when it comes to, when obviously they fall asleep and then their day restarts. So it's like, are the people like since they're living the same day over and over? Is it the fact that they're just stuck in this time, like this space and time where everyone else has clearly moved on with their lives, and have they technically still moved on with their lives? Because
See, that's another thing I was wondering, because it was like one of the best lines is when Niles said, he was like, "Oh, like I've never thought of the multiverse theory, whatever." But that's like what I was wondering, like on the ones where like they died, got arrested, like is there like universes to where like Niles and Sarah are just like completely dead and like they have to reconcile with them being dead like the entire time?
it's like Rick and
Like
Morty
the
all
Rick
over.
and Morty episode.
Well, see, like, and that's another thing. Of course, at the end, and that's another thing I like. Like, they tried to get like all quantum, whatever, but it was really just like, oh, we're gonna go in and blow us. Like, they didn't try to over-explain it,
Right.
Which I really like, because they could have been like, this is the science behind it, yada yada yada,
Yeah.
and but that's one thing where it's like they were just like, let's blow ourselves up. But one thing that scared me was after they blow themselves up, when everything got erased, my heart like dropped. I thought they were going to restart at the beginning of the day for the very first time and just not remember any
I thought
of
the
it.
movie was going to end, and I was like, oh no, don't do
Yeah.
that.
I thought it was just going to like restart and then they weren't going to know each other and I was going to be like, no, like this isn't what I wanted.
They have to end up together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really there's a lot of hidden themes in this movie. But I guess since Devin went Ricky, were there any parts of the movie that you weren't too crazy about, or you wish they would have done differently?
Okay, so the film started way too slow. I said that a little bit early on. Okay, it's took a minute to get to where it was going to go and where I wanted it to go. It finally gets to going where I wanted to go. But what you kind of touched on a little bit as well is the plot holes. You know what I mean? There's so many questions, especially for a film that we're not going to get a sequel of. If we randomly get a sequel of, whatever. But like, there's so many questions that are left unanswered within the idea of what this kind of land or world is kind of about. That kind of frustrated me a little bit. And this is going to be rather probably unpopular. I love Andy Samberg, right? I love him. But Andy Samberg plays the same person in every film. And it's kind of to the point where it's like, I want to see him do something a little bit different with his role. It's the same kind of punchlines-ish. It's the same kind of humor. And I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? He has a niche. It works most times. But for me, it's like, I want to see something different from this guy. I want him to be different, funny in a different way. And I think that he's one of the funniest comedic actors on the planet. But he knows how to he knows how to pick the roles to kind of showcase himself, but do something a little bit off the beaten path that he's used to doing. That to me is where I wanted him to stand out. You know what I mean? It's very redundant in my opinion. It's kind of like his shtick to me is kind of getting old now. And not to say that he wasn't funny, but yeah. That's my big thing.
Would you say it's like the Adam Sandler effect, where it's kind of the same thing, or Will Ferrell? Like, I mean, I like Will.
I can't stand Will Ferrell. So I think he hasn't been funny in like 15 years. So it's like, you know what I mean?
I think Will Ferrell has his moments. Like, you know, with Eurovision, I thought he was good in Eurovision, but there are other movies
I think Will Ferrell's only as funny as his co-star is. Like, if he has a smashing co-star, I think he feeds off them a lot better. Obviously, if you look at some of the films that he's been in, he's had really some solid, good, you know, if you think back to like Get Hard was hilarious, but Kevin Hart was the funny part, and he just bounced off him really well. I don't think Will Ferrell's can be funny on his own, but yeah, I think it's kind of like that. Like, early on in Sandler's career, you had a lot of the same Adam Sandler in every film. It was just, but even he, you know, kind of took on the serious stuff. Even Will Ferrell, I don't know if everybody's seen Everything Must Go, but it's one of Will Ferrell's best films, and he was so raw and real in it. It's like a different side of Ferrell that you've never seen before.
Yeah,
I want to see Samberg take on something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something more serious.
Yeah, I was going to say Will Ferrell's Stranger Than Fiction was probably an Oscar-worthy performance. Great performance in that movie.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Jacob, because I know you've been talking about, you know, you've loved it so much, but was there anything that this really, like, you know, this doesn't work for me, or I would have done this a little bit differently?
See, like, there's always things with everything. But it's like, for me, I just personally just love this movie so much that I think I can look over a lot of those things. To go on that Andy Samberg thing, I agree he does play the same character in almost every movie, but I feel like in this one, this was the only time he's ever actually like cared that he was that character. Whereas, like, you know, every movie he embraces, like, you know, I'm the shticky slapstick kind of character. This is the movie where he was like
a little more self-aware.
Yeah, like he was like, I kind of don't want to do that anymore. Like it was a different kind. It was a different kind of depression, but he could clearly he was dealing with like depression of just like being stuck in the same day and just like not caring about what happened, and just kind of like, I mean, just from the very like first scene when he's just sitting there and he's just like angry and like mad that he's like just still alive and still in this kind of life, to where like I feel like this is the first time he's gone from like the 2-dimensional like funny guy to a 3-dimensional like actual actor. And that's one thing I actually like really enjoyed from him from this movie. But when it comes to things I didn't like, it's just, I don't know. When I like a movie this much, it's like those things that I don't like can be pushed so far back that I stopped thinking about them.
Yeah. It's like Honey Boy. Like, I mean, I love Honey Boy. I don't think I could find the flaw in that movie if I tried. And it's just like, it's so hard. Or like you said, it's so easy to just overlook certain things and just, move on with the rest of the movie and not let that ruin your experience.
Yeah, like, I mean, the whole concept behind, like, them getting out and, like, it's whatever. Like, is the science behind it? I don't know. I'm not great in science. That's why I do this. But, like, to counteract that, they didn't focus on that, like, much throughout the movie. Like, 95% of the movie was about them in the time loop, not about them trying to get out of the time loop. And then it only showed, like, a montage of Sarah, like, learning how to get out. So it's like they didn't focus on the things they didn't know. They just did the things they knew very well. And that's something where, like, it was a different take. Because I watched Groundhog Day for the first time this past, like, week or so. And just watching that and then, like, watching this again, you definitely see, like, a different take of, like, Groundhog Day was constantly, like, trying to get out until he learned how to live in the situation he was stuck in. And this one, it was like, I'm going to live until I learn how to get out. And so I think it was, like, a different take on it, which I really did enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've seen this time loop thing in other...
Tons of times in different ways, yeah.
Yeah, but I really think they really hit the nail on the head this time around because there's just something different about it, something more authentic, and it's just I just thought I had a really great time with it for sure. So I guess I wanted to ask you guys, how does this movie stack up compared to recent releases? Whether if it was back in theaters or any movies we've gotten on VOD. I guess let's start with Ricky.
For me, I guess, okay, so I'll just take it in the realm of, like, the comedy circles, you know what I mean? Obviously, we haven't had a terrific amount of comedic movies that were released recently. Some of the ones that I've kind of watched in the last couple, I'm just trying to scope my... Let's see here, at 61 films. Let's see, blah, 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 blah.
61 films in 2020, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that were released this year. It's actually way more than that. I just haven't added some stuff to Redbox yet. So let's see. Downhill, that was terrible. Eurovision was awful. Coffee and Cream was not very good.
Boy, we skipped that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did skip that one, thankfully. I was like, yeah.
Lovebirds was very generic and bad.
We agreed.
Yep.
Sonic the best comedy movie that came out this year?
That was
probably?
actually, I laughed a ton during that movie.
Yeah, so did I. So from that, or Bad Boys, you know what I mean? Obviously, we had Bad Boys too.
That felt like 10 years ago.
It did feel like. It really does.
It really does.
When you think about something like this, what it kind of reminded me of was like last year, The Long Shot. It was not the same style of film, but the Long Shot was obviously light years better of a film in my opinion. But like I just love Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron. But for me, like in the grand scope of things, it's like it was a good comedy. Like you know what I mean? It's like all right, it's cool. I liked it.
And the romance kind of like surprises you, kind of sneaks up on you like Long Shot did. You weren't expecting those nice romantic parts, really.
Right, exactly, and it makes it fit and it makes it work. So I compare those two films. Like I said, like Long Shot better, but for me, it's like I would say it's probably upper echelon of comedy films released this year, which really isn't saying much because there really hasn't been a whole lot of I mean, if you consider Big Time Adolescence a bit of a comedy as well, you know what I mean. Yeah. So, but outside of that, I mean, it recent releases. I mean, sure, I guess. I mean, I've probably seen maybe 15, 20 films better than this one this year, though. So,
all right, Jacob, what about you?
Yeah, everything he said, I'm going to do like the complete opposite. Is this the best movie of the year? No, I don't. I can bring myself to say that. I don't think so. Is this my favorite movie of the year so far? By far, You know, there's something with like an Andy Samberg movie, and I've tweeted this out, like with Popstar. You know, Popstar is kind of like one of my go-to movies if I'm like bored, don't know what to do, can just throw it on. It's like a TV show. This is getting to that same realm where it's like, you know, an episode of The Office, an episode of Parks and Rec, an episode of New Girl, something like that, to where it's like, if I am bored, I have an hour and a half to spare, which is a very short amount of time, I can just throw it on and like get on my laptop or something and just listen and kind of remember what's going on. But yeah, I mean, for me, like it's my favorite thing I've seen all year.
Okay.
It's, you know, I've seen it 4 times just in the past week, and each time I've loved it just the same. I'm gonna see it more times throughout the rest of the year, throughout I guess the rest of my life. You know, it's just one of those things where it's, for me, it's just such an easy watch, and it tells a good message, and it does such a good story. The screenplay could easily be, you know, awards worthy if it gets that kind of push.
God.
I think this movie has some award potential for sure.
No, it does
Yeah,
not.
with
It has 0 award potential. There's a number, there's 0, and then there's below 0.
with such like a charismatic, like, new take, original take. It's one of those things where it's like this is like an original movie, and so I think it could get some awards play come later in the year.
I mean,
yeah.
it could get like the Music City Drive-In movie awards. You know what I mean? That's a possibility. But maybe the Independent Spirit Awards or whatever might do it. I mean, maybe the MTV Movie Awards, the Razzies are available. You know, stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. It wouldn't be a Razzies. I didn't think that it was bad.
Golden Globes?
Nah, hell no. Absolutely not.
Oh, definitely. I could see some
I could see
Golden
in the
Globes.
There is
I could see
0
comedy.
awards for this in
I
a
could see the
real
Globes.
award category.
I could see Golden Globes
0.
for comedy for the leads for Andy and Kristen.
Oh, absolutely.
I will profess that Uncut Gems is the greatest film of all time if Palm Springs gets any award love. Any.
Even for comedy musical.
I will put Uncut Gems on my favorite films on my letterbox for a whole month if it gets any award
No, it's got to
love.
stay up there forever.
Okay.
I'll do it a whole year just because I know how confident I am right now.
All
You
right.
can record this and clip this and save it for later, Jacob.
Well, he's gonna watch Lord of the Rings this weekend, so he's gonna have
Oh,
3
is he
more
really?
movies
He
for
is
us.
watching. Okay. Extended cut?
sorry.
Ricky, extended cut? Please.
Is there an extended?
Yeah.
How much longer is the extended cut? I mean, how much longer is it? Are we
It's
talking like 7
30
hours?
30 extra minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so the extended cut for Return of the King is like pushing 4 hours, but you've watched
Oh my god!
you've watched
Yeah.
the Irishman, so you should be fine.
It's regrettably watched it.
No, actually, it's worth it. It's very good. But Devin, last but not least, how does this compare to the recent releases that we've reviewed here on the podcast?
Much better than Eurovision.
Yeah.
I still don't know how I feel
Those
about
songs
Eurovision.
are
That was so
banging.
weird.
I've been
I don't
watching.
remember a single lyric.
Yeah, ding dong.
Exactly. Eurovision was even like it was awful.
I loved it. I literally
I think it
pulled
was even
up.
worse because Jacob hyped it up. Like
No, Jacob
you know,
had the exact amount of hype that needs to be for this because
Yeah.
I've actively looked for the album on Spotify and listened to a few of the songs. It is
It was
very
very
good.
fun.
Very fun, a fun movie. But sorry, Devin. I
I'm
did
ready
not
to
mean
leave this
to.
podcast. Never coming back.
Also, I'd say it's a little, for me, it's a little bit under King of Staten Island. I think I like that one a little bit more.
Oh,
Had
yeah.
a little bit more heart, I'd say.
Oh my god, yes. King of Staten Island is far and away the best film of the year. In my opinion. I don't think there's anything close.
I could be persuaded into agreeing with that. maybe to Five Bloods.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't.
I wish I would have saw the Five Bloods in theaters.
I wish I would have saw King of Staten Island in theaters.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies I wish I would have saw in theaters, but there's others I could do without the theater experience. Scoob being.
You can actually go see Palm Springs in the drive-in. So
Can you really?
That would be cool, actually.
Wait,
Yeah.
do we have a drive-in here? And
yeah, we do.
Do we really?
It's about 30, 40 minutes away from you, me, yes.
Oh, okay. Wow, I did not know that. I'll have to check
Yeah, they
that
show
out.
the thing about it was that was like Palm Springs and Black Panther was the doubleheader. So
That's
that was
so
a very
random.
odd.
Hey,
Very
guys.
odd combination.
We're showing The Hunt and Onward. Two
Exactly.
completely polar opposite movies.
Yeah. I
That's,
saw that. I was like, this makes no sense.
That's what Martin Scorsese would classify as cinema right there.
yeah.
What a picture.
Yeah, well.
All right. Okay. So I think we've kind of gone through. I mean, Jacob would obviously watch this movie again. I would. A quick yes or no from Ricky and Devin. I
No.
guess. Okay. Ricky, no. Devin?
I would if I was watching with someone else for their first time.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I could care less.
I think I need to do a rewatch. I also want to rewatch Hamilton.
It is really interesting to like rewatch and kind of like try to put it together.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning.
And I think that's what's great about a movie where it's like, I have to go back and watch this movie again to, pick up on the little things. Same thing with video games. If there's like a story-driven game out there, a.k.a. The Last of Us Part 2, which I'm almost done with the Platinum Trophy. But it just made me feel an urge to go play that game again because I felt like there was a lot that I missed because, you're playing through the story, you want to get to the end. You're watching a movie, you want to get to the end. And second time, third time around with movies, you can kind of take your time and notice the little things for sure.
It's one of those where like with the runtime only being like right at 90 minutes, it's no different than like going back to watch like 2 or 3 Office episodes. Like it's no different than going back
Scott's
to watch
Tots.
Yeah. Not that one.
It's the funniest episode.
Hate it.
It is so funny.
Hate that
so
episode.
funny.
Anyway,
I love The Office.
it is so
Talk
funny.
about funny.
Anyway, so let's get into our final story because we are coming up on time here because I know Ricky has to bounce and do some adulting in the world. So really quick, Ricky, what would you give Palm Springs out of 100?
Oh, out of 100. Oh, that's a hard one. Okay, so for me, let's just think off the top. Okay, so when I first watched the film, I feel the same way. Okay, this is obviously not the same type of film, but I felt the same way about this film that I did Captain Marvel. Okay,
Wow.
I saw the film. Again, I said it, but how I lay it out. I saw the film, I liked it, and then the more I thought about it, the more I genuinely did not like it. And not to say I don't like the film, but Captain Marvel's a steaming pile of shit. But what I was saying, though, was for Palm Springs, it's not that I don't like this film, but the more I think about it, I was like, you know what? This is like a 4-star film, which is like an 80. Let's go 80 there. If I'm going to go 20. So the more I think about it, it's not that good of a film. It's not something that I want to rewatch. I got at a 4, I want to rewatch it relatively in the near future. 3.5, it's like, all right, it's borderline watchable. So I'm going to go like a 69 on this one.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Okay. All
I actually
right.
have a fun piece of trivia. Speaking of that great number,
Uh-oh.
always got to check the IMDb trivia. Here it is. Let's see.
Yeah, Devin's.
This movie holds the record for the biggest sale of all time at the Sundance Film Festival. The price was $17,500,000.69, beating the previous record by 69 cents.
Yep.
That's so Andy Samberg. Like,
Yeah, he negotiated
would
that
negotiate
just so
that.
he wanted. Yeah, he negotiated. I thought that was fantastic.
I did not
which
know that.
also was a great pick for 69. I wish it would have been coincided with it, but it didn't. But I really don't care.
That's actually funny. So I guess, Devin, what would you give Palm Springs out of 100?
I'm feeling a solid 86.
Okay.
It got the job done. I felt satisfied. I might not feel the need for a rewatch, but I will think fondly of it as I look back.
Okay. Jacob, what about you?
Ricky and I, a lot of people think we're complete opposites when it comes to movies. So
Hey,
I'm going to
opposites
give
attract, man.
I'm going to give a complete opposite score. I'm going to go 96.
Hey, there we go. All right. I'm going to go a little bit middle of the road. I'm going to go straight down and give it a 90 out of 100. Just because I did have a little bit more questions about the time loop. And I guess it was just always in the back of my mind. But other than that, great film. If it comes out on Blu-ray, which I hope it does, at some point, whether it be Criterion Collection. Well, I don't know if it should be a Criterion Collection film. I just hope it comes
It
out
should
on Blu-ray.
Neon should release it.
Yeah. So, because I bought Portrait
Or
of a Lady
not.
on Fire. So
Oh
good.
my God! Why?
It was only $20. Good, right?
That's $19.99.
You
way
drive
too
yourself
much.
down to Franklin. I was like, all right, I'll go
Yeah.
to Barnes and Noble.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire is a terrible film.
Oh,
I
loved it.
Nope. I hit up Barnes & Noble this past weekend.
Nice.
I got Mulholland Drive in Nashville, and I'm waiting for my my birthday present of a Blu-ray to come in so I can watch it.
Is it Midsummer, the 4K edition?
I got, yeah.
I bought that.
I loved Midsummer.
It was so good. I finally get to see the director's cut. I never saw it in theaters because I was too chicken.
I've never watched it again since I saw it in theaters. I
Yep.
just haven't had a chance to get around to
I
it.
still need to watch Hereditary.
Really? Oh, I've got a present
that
for
good.
you if you want to watch Hereditary.
Okay. All right. So I believe that does it here for our review of Palm Springs, the new Hulu original. Thank you, Ricky and Jacob, for coming on as well. We definitely have to have you guys on, hopefully, for our Lord of the Rings review, wherever we decide to do that. I'm very, very excited.
I think we're going to try to do it Saturday or Sunday-ish is when we're going to do we're going to do it on Hannah's Call Me By Your Commentary show.
Okay.
First, we're going to do the watch, which I don't understand. That's going to be the longest file in the history of the world, like a 3-hour audio of watching.
Yeah,
that
she might have to
abysmal
cut
film.
that up, honestly. Maybe, depending. But yeah, let me know, because I mean I have the
Still in this
theatrical
code right now.
and the God. I have the extended. I'm not sure if he wants to do extended or not. So yeah, we'll figure out what day, because
If we're doing it, I would love to go big or go home.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. And as always, Devin, thank you all for always coming on, being my co-host.
Devin, nice to see you, man. Nice to meet you. Nice to do all those things, man. Listen to you guys all the time, so it's nice to put a face to the name.
Put a face to
It's
the
always
name.
a cool feeling.
For sure. Sometimes you're like, I never would have thought that person looked like that. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes it's just kind of out
Is
of
that a
the blue.
McLovin shirt?
It is.
Can we talk about how awesome it was that I realized that just off the Hawaii part? Like I literally
bit right
only
there. It's
I
all you
saw that
needed.
right
It's
there.
like he
and I
didn't
knew
even
it
need to
was-
read. She's like, oh, it's
Yeah,
super
awesome
bad.
shirt. Oh, I love that movie
All-time
so much.
classic.
Sorry.
It is so
Yes.
funny.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure what we're reviewing next week, Devin. Are we doing Old Guard? Have you watched that?
I have not watched it
Oh,
yet.
it's so good.
I watched
really
it.
liked
I watched it the other day on Sunday.
Did you like it?
I liked it. There were a
Yeah,
few
I thought so
parts
too.
I liked a lot better than
Yeah.
Extraction. I was like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
That
yeah.
was, I had trust issues for a bit, because I was like, I really hope this isn't just like a woman version of Extraction, which I don't think it was. So maybe we'll figure it out. I don't know if anything else is coming up this weekend, maybe, but we'll figure that
idea.
part. No, I have no clue.
I
But,
got no idea. I love it.
so we'll go around the podcast really quick. Ricky and Jacob, let everyone know where they can find you online.
Go ahead, Jacob.
You can
Ladies
find me on Twitter at tberry57. Ricky will say the website, so I'll let him do that. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
You can find me at Ricky Valera _. Obviously, head on over to the MusicCityDrivein.com, where we've got a lot of stuff going on. We've got obviously a host of podcasts, a part of the network. It's been awesome right out the gate. We've had some high numbers across the board on the shows, on the clicks on the website with articles and stuff like that. It's been amazing. Follow me. Did I say at Ricky Valera _? I probably did. At MCDI Pod. Make sure to check out my other podcast, The Davey Delight. Real quick for you, Christian, Fatal Affair drops on Netflix July 16th. It looks terrible, but it should be fun to watch. So
Sounds good.
maybe you could do that one next.
Hey.
So, but yeah, that's where you can find everything. And thanks for having me on, man. It's been awesome, and I can't wait to come back on again.
Oh, of
The
course.
Fatal Affair
Of
looks
course.
really bad.
I know. That's why I
just
think it
pulled
would
it
be perfect.
Honestly,
That's why I think it would be
we'll
perfect.
review any. I mean, we reviewed Scoob. We almost reviewed The Hunt, for God's sakes. But
I like The Hunt, so
I've liked it. I wish it was longer, because it was.
I wish the Hunt would have been the entire movie.
Yeah, I heard.
That's what I
I
wanted.
heard there's a take out there that's longer, but
There is. That's the one where they were going to release it and then thought that it wasn't the right time because of whatever was going on, and then
Yeah, there was a mass shooting that happened. Yeah.
yeah, and then they tried to use that to their advantage on the re-release, which didn't make any sense.
Most controversial movie of the year.
Yeah, it's like, okay, don't flatter yourself that much.
yeah.
Exactly.
So, oh, wow. But I believe that that does it here for this review of Palm Springs. That was Jacob, Ricky, and Devin, and my name is Christian, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Peace.